Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to talk about our game of the year, as the title suggested. 2020 has been a strange year to say the least. But at least games are here to keep us entertained and keep us afloat, I guess. So there were a lot of good games that came out this year. This is actually an amazing year for games in my opinion. What did you think about the games that you played that came out this year?
I only managed to play properly played two new games that came out this year.
You played three, but I'll remind you of one in a minute.
I'll play four technically.
Technically four. But...
We'll talk about all those. But I feel like there's a lot of games that did come out this year that I wanted to try, but I just didn't want to spend the money on because the games for this, especially for PS5, the games have just like skyrocketed in price to like 70 and stuff. So I still don't think that's a reasonable price.
That's one of the games I wanted to play, but I didn't get the chance.
I wanted to play Assassin's Creed, the new one, so I didn't get to play that. So hopefully I'll get to try that out sometime.
I guess two games that both of us didn't play, which I should mention, that were in the running for Game of the Year and could very well win Game of the Year on a lot of people's list. Shout out to you, Oman, because I know you're like the biggest fan of this game. Was Ghost of Tsushima? That's one. Ghost of Tsushima, it looks amazing. I just didn't get a chance to play it. I didn't buy it, and also Final Fantasy VII Remake. So that's another game that everyone loved. Shout out to you, Abdul, because you love that game. All of our friends have played, especially Ghost of Tsushima. Most of my friends have played that game. I wanted to try it, but I'll try it at some point. So I guess before we get into the game of the year, we should both, which I think we both unanimously agree, what the worst game we played this year was, just by far in every aspect. It was Avengers. I'm pretty sure you agree with me on this, don't you?
Yeah, trying to think about it. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything worse than that. I just can't think of anything worse.
It was so bad. We played the beta. I know this doesn't count as technically the actual game, but it was the actual game, wasn't it? 'Cause it was the first few hours of it that they released. As,
it was the first I think.
And I heard that online didn't work in the actual game either, from what I read. So. But everything about that game was horrible.
If you want to go and check out all our stuff to do with Avengers, we've legit done a lot of stuff to do with it. We've got footage of stuff where the game was breaking and stuff. We had a lot of problems with the game, and the game just didn't really seem very fun in general.
Yeah, it was just everything about the gameplay was boring. The graphics were terrible on the base PS4, and I played it on PC as well, and it didn't look that much better. The performance issues on the base PS4 were terrible. The gameplay just didn't have any longevity. It was super repetitive. It was ridiculously sluggish and boring. It was just a terrible game, and the online didn't work. It crashed your game every time you tried to play online in the beta, and I heard that online in the game didn't really work that well either. It dropped in players really fast because of that. So, Marvel's Avengers, horrible game that I never want to play again.
Let's say worst game of the year for that then. That gets our worst game of the year.
Yeah, you get the badge of dishonor for worst game of the year. Should I make a little graphic thing for badge of dishonor for game of the year? I'll just give that every year. Avengers.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be able to bring this for future years. And this still was a great year for gaming.
Yeah, because there were other games that
we played game.
Great, but yeah, Avengers was just terrible. That's the worst game of this year. I guess maybe runners up is another thing we could talk about. Some honorable mentions.
There's a few games obviously that we said that we couldn't play, which probably would have made a good runners up list. The Ghost of Tsushima game being one of them. I still haven't played fully Last of Us 2.
Yeah, that was what I was about to say.
Which is the one we're going to talk about.
Runner up for me. In my review for the game originally, I stated that I stated my thoughts that I didn't really love the game's story that much, and having time to think about it more, I would say a lot of the decisions they made have grown on me slightly, but there's still too many issues with that game's story for me to say it's my game of the year. But everything else is perfect, gameplay's perfect, the graphics look great. The sound design was really good. The soundtrack was amazing. As a technically made game, it's a masterpiece, but the story was just... They made some questionable decisions in that story for me to too many questionable decisions for me to give it game of the year. So I know you haven't beat it yet. I guess.
I've been playing through it. I think I'm about the halfway point.
Yeah, spoiler alert by the way if you haven't.
Spoiler alert for all these games because obviously we're going to talk about them. So Yeah, I'm about halfway through, and obviously, you gave me like a little heads up because I actually asked for it that I'm going to be playing the whole second half of the game as Abby, and that's just put it off for me because I don't like the character. Like you said, technically, this like in terms of like gameplay,
Yeah,
sound,
and
graphics,
it did
everything.
win Game of the Year, the Game Awards, and I can't blame them because in terms of a technically made game, it's a masterpiece.
It's really
People,
good, yeah.
people
And
who say that it's a badly made game have not played the game. They've read leaks with the story and have lost their minds over it and just decided they're not going to play it. And now they just say the game's terrible. It's not a badly made game, and the story itself is not inherently terrible. There's just a lot of weird like decisions that they made with it that weren't the best in my opinion.
yeah, everything from like the way the game looks, the combat, everything, I enjoyed that, but it's the story that lets it down for me. I'm not as invested as in the first game as like a lot of people were and as you
Oh
were.
yeah, no chance.
But
Yeah, the first game was like one of my favorite games I ever made.
yeah, but I still like care. Like what they did to Joel in that game, like you said, hurt a lot of fans, and it'd probably be the equivalent to uh them like the obviously the developers of God of War 2 to do something
Santa
like
Monica.
stupid to Kratos. So it's probably going to be the equivalent. So that's what I put myself in your shoes there. And yeah, I don't like parts of the story, even though I think some parts are really good. I was really disappointed, and you were saying this as well, that we couldn't play as Tommy as well, which I wanted to play. I want to play
Yeah,
as
I
Tommy.
would have
But
liked an expansion as Tommy or something. It would have been cool, but just the game itself was just it was really fun to play, but they just made some weird decisions with the story that I don't really. I guess maybe at some point, if we get the time, we'll come back and talk about it once you've beat the game, but or maybe on a stream or something. But I don't know. That's like my thoughts on the Last of Us 2, to be
that's a long
honest.
discussion we could get into, which can be covered
Yeah.
like as a different time. But I think that's why that's our reasons for why Last of Us 2 is like a runner up. We could talk
Any
about
other
some
ones
other
from you?
mentions which aren't really runners up, but they're mentions. So we got the one game that everyone kind of knew about and a lot of people lost their minds about, which is Among Us.
I don't care about that game at all. I mean, it's fun at times. I couldn't
It's
get
fun
into it.
if you're with. I think it's only fun if you're playing with your friends. I don't think it's fun if you're playing it on your
Yeah,
own.
I'm more of like a competitive kind of multiplayer guy, so I prefer like shooters or like fighting games or something like that.
Yeah,
Like
and then another
I
one.
don't mind stuff like Among Us in small portions, but not like I
Yeah,
don't like
yeah. You
playing it
can't.
for
I
extended
can't really
periods of
take that
time.
game like seriously.
Yeah, yeah,
But another mention we're gonna talk about is obviously Fall Guys.
yeah. Again,
Um,
same thing with Among Us. I can play that in like small portions, but it's not
yeah,
really like
another
It's not
multiplayer.
game of the year material to me. It's not even like
It was
close.
fun. It was fun. It was better than
Mm.
Avengers. We was talking about that earlier.
Well,
Um,
Avengers was just like the lowest you could possibly get for a game this year. So if you're above that, then I mean, it's something, I suppose.
So yeah, I mean, Fall Guys was fun for like the 10 seconds that I played it. I played it for about a month, not properly, but like yeah, a month on and off, and then just never really went back to it. But it was still fun in terms of a multiplayer game that came out this year. Another game that we both haven't had a chance to properly play, but you've played it a bit, is Cold War.
Yeah, I played the Cold War multiplayer. I didn't play the campaign or zombies or anything yet. But the multiplayer is fine. Skill-based matchmaking ruins it. The maps are terrible. Let's move on. That's literally all I have to say about that game. It's just short and sweet. I don't have a whole lot to say about Cold War.
I mean, that's
Uh,
pretty much all I have to really say about the games for this year. I mean, I think
yeah,
the one game that I regret not getting, or I
Yeah.
really wanted to get but I didn't, was the new Assassin's Creed game. Also Cyberpunk as well.
Yeah,
Which
I was about to say that I have two other games which I want to talk about.
yeah,
Cyberpunk is one. The game's good, but I can't give it Game of the Year. It's too broken, and it performs like terribly right now. At least for like in terms of how it's optimized and all that. It's not good. Like it didn't come out in a good enough state to be possibly considered for Game of the Year, in my opinion. Like it's not even in that ballpark just because of the way it came
would
out.
you say if it ran properly and ran well, would
And
it
it was a
be
bit better.
in the running for Game of the Year?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, that's like a easy nomination there for me. If it actually worked, but it doesn't. It's just the game's broken on like a ridiculously high level. And I know they're working to fix it, but it should never have come out like that in the first place. So it's nah, it can't be considered for Game of the Year in my opinion. And another one that I wanted to talk about was Star Wars Squadrons. So that was I'd say that if you really enjoy ship combat in Star Wars games, that's like a dream come true for you. But I do enjoy it, but I'd say the game's multiplayer doesn't feel like it has like a long like sort of longevity to it. It's not like one of those games that I'd want to play over and over and over again for the multiplayer. I'd probably play the campaign, beat it, play some multiplayer, and then move on. It's not like Battlefront 2 to me, where Battlefront 2, the multiplayer had like a lot of longevity to it and
Yeah.
a lot of legs to stand on. This isn't really like that for me. But aside from that, I guess let's get into what we both thought. We both have different games for game
We'll
of the
do
year.
my game first because my game's your runner-up, and then the game that you play.
Yeah,
Is
I'd
yours
still
is
I'd
I
still
haven't
probably
played.
put Last of Us 2 over this game, but
Fair enough.
and
I'll talk about it first, and
probably
then
Cyberpunk if it worked. But yeah, go on. You say your game of the year. I'll say mine. I'll say
my game of the year is I'm pretty sure a lot of people saw this coming already with Spider-Man Miles Morales, and even though it was obviously a short game and a kind of spin-off from the first, I still thought it was an amazing game. I haven't replayed it all on PS5. I've replayed about half of the game on PS5, and with the obviously upgraded frame rate and all that, it's really good. The gameplay is really good. Even on the PS4, it had slight bugs at times, but it was mostly fine. The story, although it seems quite generic, it was still fun to play through and to play as Miles as well in the video game. Obviously, since Spider-Verse came out and everyone was properly introduced to Miles, I think it was really good to get like more about him from a different point of view. And the characters in there, obviously Miles, Genki, Prowler, Tinkerer, I think they were all done really well, even though some aspects may seem a bit cliche. I still enjoyed all of those, and yeah, I think it was overall an amazing game.
Yeah, I agree. It was a good game. I don't think I'd say it was amazing just because it was of how short it was, and then also I feel like a lot of the side missions were more interesting than the main story, like with certain things that happened in them. I still need to go back and platinum it, but I didn't really feel like replaying the main story straight away, so I might like wait a bit before I decide to platinum it. But yeah, I liked Spider-Man Miles Morales. It's definitely a runner-up in not second. It's probably like third or fourth maybe behind Last of Us 2 and probably Cyberpunk as well. If Cyberpunk worked, I'd say that that's like a much better game. But
if you want to go and check out our review for that, by the way, that'll be on our channel, and
yeah,
so you can go
feel
and
free
watch
to give it
that.
a look. But yeah, I liked Spider-Man Miles Morales. I guess, do you have anything else to say? Maybe like a score, or do you have anything else to say about that game?
Score, an overall score, I'd probably give it, for my personal experience of it, probably a 9 out of 10. I'd give it a personal.
Yeah, I'd probably give it an 8.
So yeah.
8. But yeah, that's your game of the year. For me, this game came out before we even had a channel, so I guess now it's my time to talk about it. By far, this is like took my game of the year easily. It came out in March this year. That was Doom Eternal. I loved this game so much. I loved Doom 2016. That was like one of my favorite shooters. Like in God knows how long. It was so much fun. The gameplay was smooth. The combat was fantastic. It didn't have that much of a story, but the gameplay was so good I could ignore it. And in my opinion, everything that Doom 2016 did amazingly, Doom Eternal takes it and just brings it like 10 levels higher. It's like just way better. It added a lot more of a story. The gameplay was more fun and even more fast paced than the original somehow. The mechanics in it, like the way you have to use the chainsaw to get ammo, a lot more with this one because obviously you have a lot less ammo than you did in the first one, and they made the game a lot harder as well, which I liked. The combat in general is just way better. I'm trying to think what else I loved about Doom Eternal. The boss fights. There was the final boss fight in that game is just ridiculously amazing. It's like one of the best things I've played. It like probably my favorite boss fight in any first-person shooter I've ever played, or at least up there. They just added so much into the game, but there's a lot of replay value in it as well with all the master levels and all that stuff, and all the Easter eggs and stuff you could find in the game. Yeah, I love Doom Eternal. That was by far my favorite game this year.
I never got a chance to play Doom Eternal. I haven't even finished the first one. I got about maybe like halfway, 3/4 of the way to the first one. Just never ended up like finishing it. Even though I did like it quite a lot, and I definitely have to play it at some point.
Yeah, you should. It's so good. It was like everything I wanted out of its sequel to Doom and more. Like it blew away my expectations because I got it. I wasn't actually going to get it at launch. I was going to, but usually Bethesda games drop down cheap. I found a key for it on PC really cheap, so I bought it, and I just loved every second of it. It was amazing. It was like my favorite shooter, and maybe my favorite shooter since like Black Ops 2. Maybe it was. I mean, excluding Doom 2016, I just loved Doom Eternal. It's fantastic. One of the best games this entire generation, let alone this year. It was by far my game of the year. So I guess that's it. That's this year over.
Let's hope for a lot of good games in 2021.
Maybe God of War. Ragnarok
maybe we don't know yet. It's not. Like they're saying 2021, but could
if
always
Metal
be
Gear
pushed
Solid
back.
Remake comes out next year, I don't care how good God of War 2 is. Metal Gear Solid Remake takes that Game of the Year title. That's gonna be.
I don't think it'll take it for me, even though I'm playing Metal Gear Solid like playthrough right now. Well, I'm not playing 5, which
5.
I'm playing it in weird orders, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, Metal Gear, the whole thing's in a weird order, so I guess that's it from the games this year. So if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to drop it a like. Be sure to let us know your game of the year in the comment section below. Be sure to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Check out Instagram, link in the description. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you next time. See ya.